Welcome to the Man United show. We are live and we have got plenty to discuss tonight. First of all, Manchester United's emphatic win against Melbourne City. 4-1. Yes, absolutely destroyed them. And not just destroyed them, but they're an Australian club. But the way Man United are playing right now is slick. It's got pace to it. It's the same team, but it's a different style. And Man United fans absolutely buzzing all over the place. We've got Donny van der Beek to discuss. We've got De Jong to discuss, and of course the three amigos: Rashford, Martial, and Sancho. But where does Ronaldo fit in there? I'm joined by Nathan Ellen. How you doing, Nathan?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. United are looking sick, looking sharp. So I'm feeling the best. I'm feeling the best I can feel.
All right, that's good. And Marcel, how you doing, Marcel?
I'm fine, thank you. Evening, guys. Evening, everyone. I'm liking that you're saying these positive things about our club, Kieran. You know, I thought you'd be a bit, a bit tentative.
I'm the professional. I'm the host, and I'm seeing these things. It's what I see. It's what I say. What I see.
And described it perfectly. You described what's going on perfectly.
It was. He's got his stamp. He's putting his stamp on the team. 100%. I like that one as well. The Three Musketeers. Which one's which? Come on, King Eric. Which one is which? Who's D'Artagnan?
D'Artagnan.
That's Dog. I swear, D'Artagnan's the one, the cartoon.
Yeah, that's one. I love that one. Forget the real one.
All right. Let's get this underway. Let's start with Man United's win against Melbourne.
Palace. Are we on Palace right now? Wait a minute. When was Melbourne?
Yeah, the last one was Palace, but Melbourne was Saturday, the one before.
Yeah, you covered Palace.
Yeah,
you covered Palace. Yeah. You ain't covered Melbourne. Let's start off with Palace or Melbourne.
I think we covered both, but it's fine. It's all good. All
right, let's go to Melbourne. 4-1 win. What's your thoughts on it, Nathan? How are you feeling right now after that?
I was just buzzing after watching the goals. I'm trying to remember now because I'm sure obviously Martial got his goal in that game. Who scored now? Just going back to it because I went through. I'm sure I went through that before. I'm trying to remember who it was that banged with the four. It was the own goal towards the end, wasn't it? When Chong got down the right and he slid it across and the keepers, the defenders gone and slotted it in. So the first goal against. And that was within 4 minutes. So obviously I wasn't too happy there. So game kicked off. We looked at Lindelof, Maguire, and I thought it's the same old news at the back. But I thought it's a new season, so let's see if they can handle the Ten Hag era. And then within 4 minutes, obviously they kind of ripped us apart easily, quickly, like we were not there. So that kind of didn't fill me with confidence that the back four of those two at the back can do a job, because from what I understand is Melbourne Victory are similar to like a League Two club. So for that to happen so soon, so easily, I was a bit upset. But we got back in the game. We started playing okay stuff. I know they were a team that sat back a lot. So it was a different situation to the Liverpool game where they coming on to us and now it's all open. So we had to keep it moving. And the one thing I loved is the fact that we did keep it moving. We went left to right to left to right. Anytime we lost it, straight pressure on them, got the ball back. It was like watching Man City of last year when they totally dominate a game, but we weren't really doing a lot. And then all of a sudden, I think it was McTominay gets a shot off and it deflects and it goes in. And that's what happens when you put so much pressure on a team. Them kind of things can happen. And we haven't seen that at United for years now. So to see that happen, I was really, really happy. And then straight after that, we got another goal. If I remember rightly, was it Sancho before half time?
No, it was Martial.
Elanga got the ball. He played it across to Martial. Martial touch, left foot, bottom corner, quickly. Love that.
Yeah, quick feet.
Yeah, you can see that he's feeling sharp. And that's what I've always said about him. If he gets a chance, he's going to score because he's one of the best finishers in the league. If you look at his goals to the shots ratio, remember when we had not that many chances, he was the only one bagging at one point, and I was like, wow, he doesn't even need many chances and he's always scoring. So I was happy with that. Second half, into the 60th minute, I think what happened was Van der Beek came on in that game, if I'm right, if I'm not mixing up games. Is that the game where they all got... No, that was half-time where everybody changed the game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
See, I'm getting mixed up with the games now. I'm messed up. All I can say is everything changed from that point. I think, who else came on now?
Rashford scored.
Who?
Rashford scored.
Rashford scored. Eric Bailly assist.
Right. Eric Bailly was doing very well.
Well,
he kind of had a couple lapses of concentration that I remember. Many of this because I don't want anyone talking against my Bailly. I want him getting in there. He still played well. And then he goes and sets up Rashford with a great touch, Rashford. And then he touches it just past the keeper. I love that. Obviously, he's going to get more confidence from scoring them kind of goals as well. So for me, I was really, really happy with the fact that we came back from a goal down and we totally dominated the game. So just remembering all that, sorry for kind of mismatch between the two games. But yeah, that's what I remember. And I'm very, very happy with the victory. Yeah.
Marcel, your thoughts on the game? Happy with the way that things are going right now? Let's start with the first goal. Was that, is that a worry? Is that something you might worry going into the season, or is it?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
No, yeah, definitely, Kieran. I mean, we were struggling to get out the back in the first half. It was a bit underwhelming that first half, and it resulted into us. We were doing the right things in terms of our whole team was in their half. But that back two wasn't being able to get the ball from left to right side of the pitch quick enough. To the point where Fred had to come into the back line as well and help out because, we were struggling between, like, Maguire's taking too long and it's between Maguire and Lindelof and they're passing side to side and they weren't distributing the ball into the wide areas well enough. And then, results in a quick counter-attack. I think Maguire can be closer to his man or just understand spatial awareness. If you have to bring back the low, tell him. Or if you have to man mark that player, man mark him. But, they get out. They basically, I think, built out from the back, something that we've been trying to do. Luke Shaw gets killed for pace and not really marking his man well enough. Comes through on his side, and then they pass across for the finish. Since that happened, we had to increase the tempo. I think Sancho and Delo, good patterns of play, and I think it's Delo's cross into Elanga, and then Martial finish. Sancho for that whole game, like every single display that we've seen him so far, excellent, very sharp. I mean, out of everyone, he looks more into his flow state, very comfortable, very skillful. I think in that game we got to see Rashford as a captain. Maybe it was only for the second half, but that was good to see. Yeah. That was really good to see. I was really impressed with that. Seeing him as the captain, it's good for his confidence. Just these little touches that Ten Hag's given out here. I really enjoyed that. But it was very, from what I can remember, underwhelming that first half. I don't know. I think it finishes 2-1 because of Martial's brilliance in terms of being in the right position as a striker and just tucking it away. And I think he's got 3 and 3. We'll go to the Crystal Palace, but I think he's 3 on 3 now. Just he's in goal scoring form. The likes of Bruno played okay. When the youngers came on, Zidane and Charlie were not as great as they were in the Liverpool display, or as great as they were in the Crystal Palace for me a little bit, but they were still very good. It was an own goal. It was Chong's own goal. Yeah. Eric Bailly's individual brilliance again to break lines, carrying the ball, something that Maguire's been doing, but now it's coming with end product. It's end product now with Eric Bailly twice. Against Liverpool and against Melbourne. Like you did say, Nathan, you're right. 2 laps of concentration from him as well when in open play. But overall, it was nice to see. Chong didn't really do anything spectacular. Neither did Ahmad. These players looked a bit fringe in terms of what they were offering. The drop of quality that we have when you see Martial, Sancho, Rashford is so fluid. And then the younger players, we definitely need to go into the market, I would say, for one more attacking player that we can rely on week in, week out, in Old Trafford against weaker sides, because they were tailing off a little bit. Facundo looks okay, and Ahmad's, I know he's got amazing technical ability, but just physically, imposing himself in this fixture, being a man, he needs to grow a little bit. So yeah, and that will come as age. Once you mature to the game, understand where you need to be, where you don't need to be, that will come. But it looked okay. You could see, we were all saying, what does Maguire add to this team? Previously, we were all intrigued because, so far, so good. But, you can just tell that recovery pace is going to be a huge issue for Ten Hag throughout the season, because we're offering so much space to the opposition. David De Gea didn't play that game, I believe. And he was actually doing well in terms of coming out. Like, he's not good at it, but he was closing that gap in between what the defenders are leaving behind them, what the goalkeeper is seeing in front of him. Heaton didn't do that too well. But it was okay. And I'm happy that we got that win for that game.
All right. No, you are right, Nathan. The Crystal Palace game was on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, Nathan, do you feel like Erik Ten Hag's already making his mark on this Manchester United squad?
100%. When you look at the side, you can't see many changes in terms of personnel, but what you can see is a whole transformation of how the team's playing. I'm so happy to see football again. Like, it's so disheartening when you're watching the team and every player picks the ball up and stands on it for like 5 touches and wonders where to pass the ball. And then everyone wonders why these players are losing the ball all the time. It's because they have no options. But you can see Erik Ten Hag in training. Listen, when you pass the ball, you're moving straight away. If you stand still, you're not playing. You better pass that ball and provide an option and get moving and get pressing. So everything is all about fitness levels, number one. I think that's something that Rangnick couldn't do because it was during the middle of the season. So he couldn't implement any of his tactics because it was just game after game after game. Now Ten Hag actually had pre-season to really drill things into them and get the fitness into them. And now you can see the difference. I felt like the boys were just not fit enough at all last year. And this is clear to see that they've got levels of ability inside them. And just having a little bit of focus on structure, what to do, has changed everything. And what I've been saying for like 2 years, United needs structure. Oli just needed to bring someone in that can implement this structure into the side, and then we wouldn't be having too much of a problem. Because now, look, Fred looks transformed completely. He could even play deeper now. He's playing deeper and he never lost the ball once. He never even looked like losing the ball once. Popping, moving, one touch, round corners. It was lovely to see. And I'm like, wow. He don't have to play central midfield. He can actually play deep. That's great. Everybody, I saw Rashford picking up the ball, laying it off and sprinting straight away on the front foot. I'm like, lovely. Even if you don't get it, just make that run. And you know what really pleased me most of all is when I'm watching the game and I'm trying to look and see what's going on, like where the players are going to move and stuff. And in my head, I can just see players moving everywhere. I can't even like compute everybody's movements. I can't do that no more because so many players are making runs. I'm like, wow, he's making run. He's making, wow, amazing. I love this. And the ball's getting moved quick and we're getting chances. And as you can see, the players with ability are shining. So yeah, he's made his mark very quick. And that's why I don't care about the result. It's not the result that makes me think that we're going to do well this season. It's the way we are playing football. And that is the difference. I don't care if we drew 1-1 or lost 1-0. We're playing like this. Look at the goals, the Sancho goal, the Martial goal, the Rashford, like the goal where it was one touch, pop, 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 pop. Donny van der Beek straight back. I think Martial laid it back to Donny. Donny into them and he just slots it home. You're like, finally. We're scoring goals like Man City where you're just passing it up until the line and they can't do nothing. And the last thing I'd like to say is, remember, we played Crystal Palace last game of the season. I know it's not all their first team, but seriously, if that team was playing us last game of the season, they would have also battered us. Now, we totally destroyed them. We totally controlled the whole first half. That whole 60 minutes, we controlled it all, and we totally bossed them. And we, what was it, 3-0 up at that point? So, yeah, I'm very, very impressed with what he's done in a short space of time.
Right, I will go to the comment section in a second. But first, Marcel, this is the same team as Rangnick had, the same team as Solskjaer had, but the style of play is different. It's dynamic, the passing slick. The team looks rejuvenated. What else do you think they need to do before they get to the season to sort of really tighten things up?
It will be understanding the press a bit better, making sure that's a bit neater. But like you said, this is the exact same players. So you can clearly see Erik Ten Hag's been working and making a difference to these players because, if this team was playing how they're playing now last season, a lot of results would have been completely different. I mean, the way that we're creating chances now, it's very very fluid. You know, these are almost constructed patterns of plays, and people are positioning themselves just for overloads, just underlaps and overlaps to create problems for defenders that they're facing against. So it's very very interesting now. I think they maybe need to get fitter. The quality in the passing, in terms of build up, needs to be a lot better and a lot higher level. But that will come, and so the more that they're training in this way, it will become more natural to them. I think we do still need quality. Like, there's still another level that we can go in terms of quality of player, especially in that midfield area. But for him to be able to produce what he's producing with these players now, it kind of almost says, well, no wonder he didn't want Ralph as a consultant. It's counterproductive to him. If he really believed in his ability and his coaching ability to get more out of these players, you don't want somebody that maybe has a point of view that is going to be counterproductive to what you're trying to work on. But no, honestly, it's been fantastic. He's come in and he needs now more quality players at his Arsenal. But in the modern game now, it's about what can this manager do with these group of players, and he's definitely shown us early signs that he can definitely structure a kind of team ethic towards the goal and a positive way of playing the game.
All right. Albert says Rashford still needs to do more for me, but I'm happy. Yeah. King Eric says Rashford will come good. Lady Devil says so many games, so many victories. It's feeling good. Hey, James Dixon, big up people. What a panel. Thank you very much. Loving Sancho. I think everyone is at the moment. He's got this. We said last season you could slowly start to see Sancho getting into his stride. And when those players are fully confident and bopping it around, they're entertainers, and that's what people put bums on seats. Hello, is that hello from Croatia? Thank you very much. David's distribution was much better. Do the panel think that Dalot will stay at right back? Nathan. Yeah. So Dalot, I'm hearing good things about him. It seems like Dalot's a very much a Ten Hag type of player. Where do you think they should go from here? They definitely need to get Aaron Wan-Bissaka off the books. Is it bringing a player who's going to be, so Dalot's going to be the understudy for the next player that comes in?
Well, hopefully, because we know his defensive side is not up to scratch. We know he gets beaten by, very good players, and Wan-Bissaka doesn't get beaten by very good players, but he doesn't have the attacking side. So if you mesh them both together, it would be a great team. But you can't mesh players together. This is the problem we got. But to be honest, he's doing me proud in terms of going forward. He's providing a bit of an attacking ability, which we thought he had, but never really came to anything last season because of the structure side of things and the timing of crosses. Now everything's done in a way where he knows when that ball's gonna be crossed, and he knows how when players know when that ball's gonna be put in. He can put it in with quality, and we are obviously it's helping him now. So, but just don't want to get carried away in terms of the defensive side, because we know if he's coming up against someone one-on-one, we saw it in Champions League last year. We saw it a few times, even against Brighton. We saw it against a few teams last year where you think, you know what? If you're a defender of the levels that we need, you don't get beaten like that. You just don't. It doesn't happen often. You can't remember. You shouldn't be able to recall a number of times where you get, ripped. So, yeah, that is a bit concerning. But I've got to say, he's done okay now so far. And I just hope he continues to do well. But I'd like us to still look for someone in there that's going to be obviously improving the side, and maybe he can be covered for someone.
All right. King Eric says whenever he wants. Tony Martial, he scores when he wants. And on that, we seem to see a different Martial, Marcel. Are you seeing Ten Hag playing any differently? What do you think he's done? Where do you think this newfound confidence has come from?
Yeah, just trusting the player. I think a lot of the time with Anthony Martial, it's been a thing where a never senior player with a bigger career than maybe is or assumed by that manager at the time has come in and taken those first team striker minutes, and that maybe knocks your confidence a bit, and then he goes out onto the left, and then maybe you don't see the same productivity or the link up. Now it's all fluid. He already knows where his next pass needs to go. Sometimes he also knows his game's matured a lot. It's not a lot of dribbling. Sometimes I've seen him come out from the forward line, hold the ball outside the 25-yard, and then wait for everyone to get into position and then set the passing move. So his game's matured a lot right now. But it's early stage. It's a very, very early stages right now, Kieran. That's what I would say with him. You know, I haven't been an advocate of his, but he's showing absolute quality right now. Even on Albert's question regarding Delo, you know, this was, I believe, a Mourinho signing, you know, but he didn't really come into fruition. And the way Mourinho would use him was completely different. Oli never used Delo, and then under Ralph, you know, Delo looked like one of the prominent players or one of the players that were kind of producing decent performances. But now you can see he's obviously taken to, you know, the kind of movement patterns that are required under Ten Hag right now, and he's going to be the benchmark player. We need to upgrade on him, to be honest with you. It's clear to see you need to upgrade on him. Fullbacks are fundamentals in the Premier League, and he doesn't have all the fundamentals required, especially defensively. Nathan's spoken perfectly on it already. He's not very good defensively, but in terms of offensive areas under Ten Hag, you know, it's classic wing play. You want to be able to produce something in the final third, getting shots off, cutbacks, all these things. That's more. If you're keeping the ball, you don't have to defend as much because that's you're the ball's away from your goal, and you're suffocating the opponent. They're having to do so much. They're having to cover so much ground. So it's good signs, but we need to upgrade on him. Maybe a Tariq Lamptey or a Hakimi or something like that.
Yeah.
Did he do says, I hate to say it, but we need a Kyle Walker. Nathan. Kyle Walker?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, he's one of the best out there, to be fair. There's no one that really beats him ever. He's got so much pace to recover. It's ridiculous. And that's one thing I noticed in Delo. He ain't got no recovery. Once he's up there, he's flagging on the way back. And that's something that you can't have happen. And that's the thing about us. We weren't fit. Maybe, hopefully, he will be fit enough where he can now obviously be able to get back on them kind of runs, and maybe that will help massively. So but that's what I think about him, to be fair. But we need a Kyle Walker type player. That's why a Lamptey or Hakimi would be perfect, but obviously he's at PSG, so I wouldn't expect him to come. But I wouldn't mind seeing a Lamptey come in and actually be told how to play this way. It's like having two Malasias, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great ability to get up and down, two players with good skills, can get past players and get back. That'd be great, to be fair.
We spoke previously about discipline that Ten Hag was bringing in. How much do you think that's had an impact already, Nathan?
Of course, making sure everyone's on their game, making sure everyone's ready to give their 100% is the main thing that every team should have. To have winning mentality, you've got to have that kind of discipline within the whole squad and everyone policing each other to be the best and never slack. I think there must have been some kind of culture last year where people were just allowed to slack in all areas. And that's why you saw what we saw. The level of performances that we were giving, it was not of any Premiership side. Like, not any Premiership side should have been putting out performances that we were, let alone having the quality that we have in the squad and then performing like that. So now it's definitely, he's brought his winning mentality, his winning ways to the club. He's just gone, listen, I'm copy pasting. I'm adjusting a few things as well because I haven't got the same players, but I know exactly what I want and I'm putting that in here now. And if anyone wants to mess with me, get out the door. That's what I hope he's saying, and that's what I hope he delivered when we talk about the next thing anyway. We'll talk about that after.
All right. Yep, we've got plenty to talk about. Next up, these three. The three amigos, the three musketeers, whatever you want to call them. They are on fire at the moment. But where does Cristiano Ronaldo fit in this system? You would never have thought that we'd be talking about where does Cristiano Ronaldo fit at Man United, but we are now. Nathan, we've seen Sancho on fire every game, as Marcel stated earlier. Martial's banging in goals, and Rashford, he's looking like he's getting back. He's playing with a smile on his face. Good to see.
The good thing, one of the comments just said, Rashford will come good. And I'm like, how good that feels, that he will come good, and he scored two. And we're still saying he will come good. Last year, he was like non-existent and we were hoping he will come good. So if this is what he's going to be when he's not good, I'm happy because that's the minimum we want to see from him. 2 goals in 3 games. That's amazing. Then when he's coming good, that'll be 4 goals in 3 games and stuff like that. So I'm buzzing for these 3 because it's the dynamics that we were seeing, that kind of dynamics with Greenwood, Rashford, Martial before when they all scored 20 plus goals each. And then obviously when Cristiano come, he kind of gate crashed the place, even though he is the best player and we know all about what he's all about. But it's all about coming into a certain system. And that changed our system from being a counter-attacking team to kind of wanting to be on the front foot, but at the same time losing one of those 3 players and moving players out of position. And then players getting less minutes and then finding it hard to sub Cristiano. And this was the major problem with us last year. It's we were off the cuff as it was. Then he's come in, and it's like players are injured, players are coming back, and it was just all a little like just go out there and play kind of situation. And it didn't help because players like Martial are going to be sitting down, not getting in any groove, and they're not going to be in any kind of pattern. So now it's like, where does he fit? That's what you're asking right now. Where he fits, he comes in. And he's calm and he's kind of humble to the situation. He's got to know where he is now. He's 37 and he should be happy with half the time. So not if you're on the pitch, you can't expect to stay on for 90 minutes all the time. Play. If you're starting the game, you play. If you're not having the best of games, you come up and you don't shout and you don't start screaming and going crazy at Ten Hag. You let Martial come on and do his thing. If Martial scores and does well, Cristiano, you sit down. It's as simple. Cristiano's not the same as he was, and he shouldn't be playing 90 minutes every single game. We have to use him like every other person uses an older player now. This is his time, I believe, that he really needs to start really recognizing he's got to be a team player. Just like I kind of if anybody watches NBA, them players who are usually first teamers, they always start. Then they get a little older and people recognize they're not the same as they used to be. But then they don't want to be a role player no more. They don't want to be a role player. But then eventually they say, you know what? I'm happy. I'm accepting that role. Like the Wayne Wade did when it came to Miami and LeBron and everyone. Is like, listen, LeBron, take the mantle. I'm not the main man no more. I'm going to be second fiddle to you. But when he first came, it was, no, I'm first. But then he realized if I'm going to win stuff, I got to be second fiddle. So this is the same kind of thing, Cristiano. I can't expect. He's got to expect to not be playing all the time. That's just my opinion.
There's definitely a mixed bag in the comment section. Bobby saying Ronaldo playing with Martial and Sancho is title material. Sir Alex is saying Ronaldo has to go for the good of the club. Yeah. So, Marcel, what's your thoughts on the situation? Can Ten Hag work with a Cristiano Ronaldo with these 3? Can Cristiano Ronaldo be patient? These are all key questions.
So Nathan makes a good point about, I think, just like principles of football and sport, I think in general, but mainly football. So there can only be one the man. Like in a team, there can only be one main man in a team. And at 37 or 38, you're going to have to play to Ronaldo's strengths if you're going to be able to get the best out of him in that team unit. Otherwise, you're carrying an additional player. So is he going to be able to fit into a pressing system and unless he's utilized in the same way as Haller was utilized, I don't think we'll be able to get the best out of him. He, naturally, a lot of last season, he was dropping deep and coming off the forward line, and times there was no one in the box. His natural game, I think, is a left winger or winger's game. He's starting to adapt it more as he gets older, and obviously in Portugal, he has an additional partner to occupy the forward line. It's normally a 4-4-2 or whatever system that they play, but I don't know. It's going to be really difficult because he at his age, you can't rely on that kind of player at that age to be the main man in the team, because you can't play 38 games in a season. You just can't. So, it's time potentially that Martial gets the mantle that he was always promised. I mean, Ibrahimovic comes in and then he has to lose his minutes. Romelu Lukaku comes in and he has to lose minutes in the forward line. Edison Cavani comes in and Martial has to lose minutes. Like it's been said before by Nathan, we've seen glimpses of a fluid front three similar to this. Obviously, it was Mason Greenwood previously, but Sancho is fantastic. So we've got three hungry forwards at the moment that are playing well, and it's early stages. It's very, very early stages. So things could change, but Ronaldo guarantees you goals. That's one thing he will guarantee you. He will guarantee you goals. And in a team that you're starting out, the manager doesn't know any constants, but he has a constant 20 goal season, man. That's no question in anyone's mind. So it's a very good headache to have. And he has a similar situation in the back line in terms of so many options to play at centre back. I won't say world class or quality options like in terms of Ronaldo and the rest, but there's lots of defenders that are of equal ability that he has to pick from, and whoever's on form, I think deserves to play. It would be interesting.
Exactly.
Whoever's on form
That's the point.
deserves to play.
Yeah.
But it would be a thing of. It would be interesting if I see Ronaldo get moved out into the wide areas. Do we think that that's possible that we see Ronaldo moved into the wide area, or would that just definitely not happen?
I can't see it. He's not got the legs to run at people no more. He's just best in that 9 position. Really just get the ball into him. And with this kind of football, I can see him really doing well in there. So this is the thing. If he's playing well, if he's doing well, they don't need to take him off. He's going to score a hat-trick. He's going to score 3-4. He might do what we were saying he would do if he was at a City. That's the thing. But if he starts playing the games where we saw him last season, where he was kind of nowhere to be seen at times, we don't want to see him still on the pitch. We want to take him off.
Yeah.
Or, we don't want Martial getting hurt in terms of game time because while he's not playing well and having them quiet games, it just wouldn't be fair. And then you've got Ragnick sitting on the side having to chat with him for half an hour after during the game. Listen, man, I just took you off, man. Just chill, man. It's only 5 minutes to go, man. You don't need that. You don't need that kind of headache. Oh, if I take him off, he's gonna go crazy. I mean, man, no.
But that's the thing, Nate. How does Ten Hag make sure that doesn't happen? Because, before
the season starts, when he comes back, he's got to sit him down and say, "Listen, this is my way, or there's no way. Like I know you want to go. I know you're the man, but no one's bigger than me. I'm the manager's position right now. You've got to listen to what I've got to do here. I've got to do it the way I want to do it. Now, if you get all mad, it's going to make me look stupid on the side, and it's going to make us as a team look stupid. We're together here. You're 37. You're not going to play every week. You've just realized this now because you tried to say you want to leave. Nobody's coming to get you. So listen, chill out and just play your game. You'll probably get your 25 goals anyway because if you play well, as we know you can, if you're still 37 looking like you're 30, well, no one's going to have a problem. You're going to be bagging and you will never come out anyway. It'll be Rashford or Martial or Sancho one of them will have to stop playing at some point. But remember, look at Man City, look at Liverpool. Look, Man City, really, they've got how many players? They all play 20-something, nearly 30 games a season anyway. So you got Foden on the left, you got Sterling playing, you got, all them players were playing. Everyone. So we need one extra player anyway, as Marcel was saying. I'm thinking if we get the Anthony type player in, then you've got another player here where now you go, right, in this cup game, we're going to play those. In this game, we're going to play those. And then you've got everybody happy. Everyone happy. And there's no big drop off when a player comes off or, you change up the seam a little bit.
I got a question. I got a question for you both. So the first game of the season, who do you select then? Because considering he hasn't played, unless I'm hoping he joins us on the tour at some stage. Obviously, I'm given the benefit of the doubt that it's family issues. But first game of the season against Brighton, considering a Martial that we've seen, considering even a Rashford, and Rashford seems like the one that you would most likely drop in my opinion. But does Ronaldo start first game of the season against Brighton at home?
No, and it's a dangerous game if it's a case of if the manager starts to think who's going to be easiest to drop, because the player will feel that. And that's the last thing you want. If a player feels that you're an easy target because you don't usually kick up a stink when you come off, and the other person does, then you'll lose the respect to that player, and you'll lose the team again. You don't want that.
Yeah. Look, you know what happens normally, yeah? When you're doing well and you're playing, like right now, those three should not be dropped. None of them should be dropped because all three should pick themselves. The minute someone's not playing well, for example, and then Cristiano comes off the bench for that person, if he comes off the bench and bangs, and then everything starts. Then he's in. Then that three's playing. And then if that's the way it should be. When you look at what, you can close your eyes right now and say you can pick last season you could pick the whole 11 for Liverpool every week without even needing to open your eyes. Like, listen, I know that team's playing. Near enough all the time. And that's what United need to have. Them front three are killing it. They're playing every week. Someone comes off, bam. So it's always who's the hottest right now, play him. That's what I believe. And that's what Cristiano should believe. And that's what all four, let's say, should believe. And then we'll be all good. So your answer to your question is, Cristiano comes in right now and he plays in the next few games and he manages to do well when someone's not doing so well, then yeah. But if he comes start of the season, he ain't played no games. Why is he going to get in front of those three who played all the games and bag in and looking sick? You can't put him in. Like, see, listen, Cristiano, you've been at home, you've been in your country training. So get yourself involved. You're on the bench this week, and that's it. Don't say nothing more to me. Don't expect to be starting. So might have a little
Marcel. Or Nathan, I'll come to you next. Who is best for the team? Like, who is best for the way the team plays? Like, from what you've seen under Ten Hag, who would be I'll give you Ronaldo at his best from last season. So from what you saw last season, Ronaldo at his best, if he was to be put in this team, who works best? Is it them three, or is it Ronaldo and one of the other two?
This is a 20-goal season, man. He scored hat tricks for us against Norwich when we were in the hole. We were in the mud against Norwich. We had Pogba struggling as the six by himself.
So who are you starting then?
Ronaldo scores a hat trick against Spurs away from home. Bruno over the top corner. He even scores an offside goal. And that doesn't count. Wraps it top corner in the second half.
What about the Liverpool one as well? Offside.
Even Liverpool. Oh, this guy. But I would have to drop him.
Hold that.
I would have to drop him. Important guy in Champions League. We're not even considering the group stage work against Atalanta, against Villarreal. This guy scores important goals. When you need him to score them, he is the man to look to. But I don't know. We are a club of future and generation and young, and allowing young aspiring talent to develop and flourish. It's such an Ed Woodward signing, but it's Cristiano Ronaldo. So, but I would just start the younger lot. And Ronaldo will always come in and score goals. Whether he's off form, on form, he will come in and score you goals. So when the time's right and one of them are tailing off, he will be the perfect person to be on their case because he's going to score for sure. So,
right. So the way I'm going to say this is he is the best player up front, to play. But the thing is, it's not about who's the best player to play up front.
Who's the best for the team, I said.
Who's the best for the team? It probably, if you were saying him at his best, he probably would be the best, yeah?
And who comes in with him?
But that ain't my team that I'm starting with, because right now, Martial, Rashford, and Sancho are playing whether he's the best or not. That's how it should be. You see, when like someone gets injured and another player comes in and is absolutely on fire, you can't drop him. That's not fair. If he's killing it for the team, even if, who else could do it? I guess, like, let's say McTominay gets injured, Van der Beek comes in and starts popping and starts making more assists like he did on the other game. Why would you drop him? You can't drop him. It's just not right. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I expect if Cristiano plays, he's going to be scoring so freely in this kind of football that you probably can't drop him. But my thing is, if his 37-year-old self is starting to look jaded a little bit in them games where he's real quiet, is he going to be real quiet in this kind of football? Maybe not. Maybe he scores every game. Maybe he does. And I would back him to do that in this football that we're playing. So really, it's like, if you produce Cristiano, you're playing every week anyway. But if you're not producing every week, don't expect to be starting every week. Expect to be dropped and Martial comes in for you. Not like last year. He can play a free and still play next week. And then obviously he's going to score the next week and the next week. But reality is he could afford to do that because no one was anything last year. So he did deserve to keep playing. I got to play 90. Who else is going to do anything? Yeah, but now it's not who else is going to do anything. Everyone's chipping in with some great stuff. Every player on the pitch, even the players who are average kind of players, but you would say, they're not at them levels that we want them to be, they're doing a job, and it doesn't go it's like unnoticed a bit when you go and kill teams and go and win. You know, like a Zinchenko, for example, he's gone to Arsenal, good player in terms of technical ability, but like when he's in the City side, they win games easy. Like, and nobody needs to say what. No one's questioning whether he can defend, whether anything. He's not really getting to defend. He doesn't have to defend. He's just popping it, keeping it, and then you're like, yeah, he's not bad. Now you're gonna see how good he is because he has to come and defend at Arsenal a little bit more than he did at City. So let's see really how good he is. So I'm not saying he's not the best, but what I'm saying is you can see the difference. Players that are average can play in a great side, in a great footballing side. We have a few of them and we need to up that to get to the Champions League levels. And that's what we know. And that's what I'm hoping happens with Maguire kind of thing, where we have so much more the ball this year that against them little teams that they don't really have the attacking, you know, momentum on us so much. So then maybe you kind of like, no one would ever have to test him too much. That's what I'm hoping. But I know it's wishful thinking, but, you know, I'm still hoping that that's the case with people like him and Lindelof and Delo not getting one-on-ones and stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, I can keep having it.
And look, what we've got to remember is Cristiano Ronaldo scored 20 odd goals last season in a very, very poor Man United team. I think if Ronaldo's playing in these games with the way Man United have been cutting teams apart, I think you'd see a few goals from Cristiano Ronaldo as well. So it's a very, I think someone made a point, very, very tough question. Very tough question. Stretford Sean says Ronaldo can stay only if he admits being a part of the squad and not a starter every week. It's about being a team player. Cristiano Ronaldo is that. However, he wants to be the main man, and
if he can still produce, then he
can
be
if yes. Sir Alex says we don't want another Alexis Sanchez situation. Martial got frozen up by that gooner. He wasn't a goonie. He stopped being a goonie when he decided to play that piano, and he just firmly became a Man United player. What are we saying here? You have to start Ronaldo. He's the GOAT. This is a very mixed response in there. There's quite a few people saying Ronaldo has to start. So I think someone down here said Ronaldo doesn't deserve to be dropped as well. It makes a good point. Rashford doesn't deserve to be dropped, Josh is saying. Ronaldo has to start. Exactly. Martial, it's all about the future. And that's a very good point. Cristiano Ronaldo is only going to probably be there for one more season. Is it worth rocking the boat and upsetting Martial again when you're seeing what he's giving to you? Because Martial, of all players, must be very frustrated in this situation. He's seen his place being lost before. He may have thought he had an opportunity last season. Cristiano Ronaldo comes in again, the same again. Can Ten Hag afford to do what previous managers have done and potentially alienate Martial? Marcel, I'll ask you first.
He's got to balance the egos. I mean, this is what top world-class managers have to do. And for them to be successful, they have to balance egos. And one player has to become the man. It's just simple as that. For Liverpool, you know, Klopp managed to feed off the divide or the battle between Mane and Salah, even though Salah was the man. But, you know, Mane was able to push Salah to higher levels and each other to higher levels. And as a manager, he had to feed off that and play off that a little bit. It's going to be the same thing for Ten Hag, but just a little bit different in the sense that we have someone in Ronaldo that definitely believes he should be playing. But, you know, he's going to have to balance those egos at the end of the day. Martial, even Alexis Sanchez. You know, I mentioned Ibrahimovic, Cavani and Lukaku, but even Alexis Sanchez comes in and he was displaced a little bit. So it's definitely something that we have to look at. Intrinsic motivation from Martial as well. He has to now step up. He has to now become a man. If there's competition for places, he has to step up. You know, I keep going back to, you know, Dwight York, Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham, and Oli. That's very fierce. Every single shooting session, every single training session is fire. There's goal scorers, all four of them. So you've got to be in and around competition. So he now, as he's maturing and becoming more of a man, I think he's 25, 26 now, coming into his prime, Martial. Very good, clever player. His game looks like it's maturing a bit, but can he now prove that in the Premier League season?
Yeah, I think you made a very good point there. And you could run through many of Man United's four strikers. They always had four savage strikers. I remember one of the best
Tevez,
was
Rooney,
Tevez, Rooney,
Berbatov.
Ronaldo, and Saha was in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Berber class. There's too many good players
yeah,
all in one team.
yeah,
You need that competition. Training, that should be invigorating you. Yes, I want to be better than him for weeks and months.
It does.
So
Better players breed better players, definitely. Ronaldo is leaving next season. He's 37. He can't play. We need to plan for the future. Before we move on, Nathan, same sentiment?
Yeah, pretty much. But the thing that I think is different is what's behind him this time. When you're playing off the cuff and you get into a groove of being able to play off the cuff, I think that's what they did. And then you take him out for someone who's used to playing the football we're playing today. That's why Alexi didn't do anything with us. I could see straight away that he weren't going to do anything. I think I've said it before, but when Alexis Sanchez first came, I noticed him playing Arsenal ball with a team that does not play Arsenal ball. There's no.
He joined a Jose Mourinho team.
Yeah, it was dead, and he was the only one buzzing around in that cup game, and everyone was like, "Touch, take time, don't pass him the ball." And I was like, "That ain't gonna last long. He's going to be slowly dragged into our way of playing, and he's gonna struggle." And then Martial gets obviously Martial's come out for him. He's now having to acclimatize to dead football. He can't because he's used to good football. Martial, he's now out the game. He's not sharp. And then he comes back in and he's chasing waste paper on a windy day. He's not. He's not chasing a ball that's for him. And he's not that kind of player. There's types of players in this game. Certain players who will not run for balls that are not his cause. Right now, we're playing football. And you've heard the saying, you're only as good as your service. Right now, the service is ridiculous. Like, from what I've been seeing in the last 3 games, the service is unbelievable. You cannot play badly if you're a good player with this kind of football. You just can't. It's not possible. So Martial cannot play as bad as he's ever played again. He can't. If we're playing this football, I'm telling you now, you will not see the old Martial that was walking around, not running after people, because he knows there's nothing to the end of it. There's no one going to get, what's the point running the box if the ball's not going to come? What's the point running after that ball if you're going to
you stop making the runs?
Yeah, that happened to me at Watford, man. It happened to me at Watford where I wasn't used to that kind of football and I couldn't compute it in my brain. I was like, since when do you just put it in behind? What happened to up, back, and then through? What happened to like intricate play? I can't do it. I'm not chasing. No. And people started calling me lazy and blah, blah, blah. And then I had to chat to this guy who was a psychologist, I told you before. And then he kind of got me into thinking for myself, why you're not playing. Why is it that you think that you're not playing? Why is the manager this? And what do you think you could do that the manager would be happy? And I was like, I'd have to chase waste paper. I'd have to chase like I have to chase all the lost causes, and I'd have to just do that and make something into something out of nothing all the time. He goes, why don't you try and do that then? Next game, straight away he saw the difference in me chasing everything, and I wonder if I scored a goal. I scored a goal as well from it, but I'm like, this isn't me, man. If you wanted a player like that, please just go and buy that other player over there. That isn't me. So that's exactly how Martial is. He's that kind of boy, and I think he's going to thrive in this. I think Cristiano's also going to thrive in this. This is the thing. All of them are going to thrive. They're all going to thrive. When you come off the bench, they're probably going to score. When they start, they're going to score. With this kind of football, it's just looking so good. I'm not saying we're going to win all the games because defensively we need to work on who he's going to pick. But in terms of attacking wise, we're going to have chances galore. Them 4 are going to be buzzing in attack. And whoever else comes on, maybe Ahmad can join it and maybe we'll see. But we need another player. But yeah, I'm happy with all of them. And I think they'll be all happy this season.
All right. Gabriel says he's watching from Genk, watching from Belgium. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Press that subscribe button. Press that share button. Just press the copy. Just press the copy. You don't have to even share it. Just press the copy. Yeah, found a loophole. Big one. This saga has been running for what seems like forever. But has it gone on too long? Do you need to find an alternative? And if so, who is the alternative to Frankie de Jong? Nathan, let's start with you. Who do you feel should be an alternative to Frankie de Jong if if they were to move on from this deal?
Right. So before we go to that, I just want to quickly mention what I think the state of play is right now, because every time it kind of changes. So at the moment now, I realize in my mind, the most probable thing that's happening right now is he's probably told Ten Hag, listen, if you guys are the only ones at the end, when it comes to last days, I'll accept the deal. I'll get the deal done. Don't worry about that. But I want Champions League. Firstly, I want Barcelona. Secondly, I need Champions League. Third, you'd be the third choice. If there's a Champions League club that's in for me, I'll probably have to go there, Gaffer. But listen, if you guys are still the only ones that will offer a deal, I'm going to come to you because you're the player, you're the manager I want to work for. That's what I think is going to happen. And then obviously hearing that these Champions League teams are in for him, he's probably going to go there. But the only way we get him is if no one else comes in for him and it gets to the end of the window, and then he's going to choose us because he has to leave. There's no way he's going to stay, I don't think. So that's that out of the way. Secondly, if he goes to Chelsea, I want to take Kovacic. I've always liked Kovacic. The type of player he is, he's not a defensive rattler, but what he is a player who never really loses the ball. He's really good on the ball. I like the way he moves it. And I just think he's a similar type of player in terms of what I've heard. I haven't really watched De Jong so much, but from what I've seen and the way I've always liked Kovacic, I'm thinking, you know what? If they take him, he's going to be more surplus to requirements. We might as well take him for quite a lower fee and then wait for whoever else to improve the squad later on. That's one player. Second player is Yuri Tielemans. On the ball, I think he's top notch. He's really, really good on the ball. He keeps it moving, very rarely loses it. Only thing is, on the other side again, very slow when he's out of possession. He can get beaten, taken on very easily. Mm-hmm. So I'd like that. Then it's another situation of that back four has to be fixed for me to then want to have a Tielemans in there. So it's all a knock-on effect. But yeah, they're my two players. I know there's the Ruben Neves as well. So he is another one who's more of a steely player who can pop the ball around as well. He's probably more of the rounded of the two, of the three, to be fair. But any one of those three, I wouldn't mind if any one of those three came in, because they're all players who have got technical ability to keep that ball under pressure and they're press resistant.
All right, Marcel, who would you? I know you feel that Frankie de Jong is coming, but if there was an alternative, who do you feel would be a perfect alternative to Frankie de Jong?
It's a really good question, Kieran. And I've been thinking about it in terms of the future for that position is definitely Zidane Iqbal. I think he will come into prominence, at some stage. And he will be the best person to learn of Frankie de Jong. I believe that he will come. I think it's been taking too long, this deal, by the way. I think there was a little piece on us saying, whether it's been taking too long or so. The perfect person, and he's retired now, I believe, is Moussa Dembele for Tottenham. Moussa Dembele for Tottenham is the perfect player for this role. Eric Ten Hag would have loved him. He's exactly the mold that we're talking about, strong and physical, but can carry the ball through the line.
Also got
always keeps the ball all day long, can pass, dribbling brilliantly. Fantastic footballer. And he's perfect for this.
Yeah.
But I think he's retired or he's gone elsewhere. His career's moved on. So he would have been perfect for it, and he's Premier League proven. So that's why I know when people say, can the six be operated in such a way? I've seen it implemented by this man. So I know that when Frankie de Jong does join the team, it will be great.
Yeah.
Barella and Verratti. Verratti's very injury prone, but these are the two that I've been looking at that maybe right now could come in and play a few minutes. Or not a few minutes, but could fill that void until Zidane is ready.
Mm-hmm. You think we could get a Verratti?
Potentially, because PSG have got astronomical wages, Nathan, on Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. They've been trying to get rid of Paredes. They've been trying to get rid of Paredes. Apparently, we've been offered Paredes, who's another clever player that can play through the thirds, but he's more a Tielemans type, and I prefer Tielemans. He knows the Premier League a bit better. So, unfortunately, there's no players like Moussa Dembele. Otherwise, he would be exactly the man for this job.
He went to
what a shout.
Yeah. So the alternative really is Zidane maturing and Ten Hag trusting him to do it. I don't think he's ready yet. So you're looking at maybe somebody to fill the gaps and and do something differently, like a Ruben Neves, like a Tielemans. I think Barella and Verratti are the closest to a De Jong style. Obviously, Iniesta, who again is gone, retired, but Moussa Dembele is exactly the type that you'd want. So I don't know. It's a very difficult question.
Marcel's pulling out the absolute big guns there.
That's why I wish we had
great shout.
At that time when the young Camavinga, he would have been a nice player to have in there. But obviously gone to Real Madrid. So oh well.
All right. Another question, and I saw it in there. In fact, I'll ask the question that I saw in the comments first, and then I'll go off the back of that. Just Donny's asking, does Marcel think there's a place for Donny in this team? I'm worried about it going to be sold. Do you feel like there's a place in the team for Donny?
Really good question again. I mean, so Donny understands Ten Hag's system, and for me, the way that Donny plays is like he operates in the first phase of a play and then appears in the fourth phase. He understands that he has to trust his other players to do things well, and then he will pair up in the right positions in the right places to connect the play. And he plays in a way that he almost knows the next pass before the next pass knows the next pass. Yeah. His game is very similar to Thomas Muller in terms of movement. Thomas Muller is very good in terms of understanding spaces and being in spaces. They're not very gifted physically. Thomas Muller is a bit more gifted physically, but Thomas Muller's spatial awareness and IQ, just like Donny's, is just very, very high level. And when you're playing amongst players that maybe haven't got that and understand the system as intimately, you can get phased out of games. They're not playing where you already know you need to be. So, and that's because they're maybe looking for a more simpler pass, or they're waiting for the shape to be restructured. They don't understand it when it's a bit messy, or when you've gone and you've left spaces that they need to go and occupy the space and things of that nature. So it will take maybe a season or two before we really see a high quality level Donny. And I think he operates best as a 10. But when you've got Bruno Fernandes, who I think might become the makeshift 8 for the team, and then you've got Eriksen, who's guaranteed Premier League quality, who I think may end up being the 10, and then Fred's kind of understanding this 6 role. Nathan's alluded to it earlier. He's kind of understanding it, and Frankie de Jong will be that 6. So I think it might be Frankie de Jong, Bruno, and Eriksen as your midfield 3, and that's really tough for Donny to take right now. But once we get to high level football and we get world-class midfielders in, I think he will be ready. He will definitely be ready in a season or two. Whether he can be patient for that, who knows? But I don't think he gets sold, because I saw that comment from Just Donny that he's worried that he'll get sold. I don't think he gets sold under Ten Hag. He just the rest of the team kind of needs to understand his movement and his clever positioning and the way he understands space on the pitch.
Yeah, Nath, can Van der Beek play that Scott McTominay role?
Definitely. I seen obviously when he came on half time against Palace, and he was with the first team this time, and I was like, perfect. Finally, he's in that position that's just behind the Bruno. That's fine. He can be in that middle. I believe that I actually like him better in that position than the actual 10 position. So it's like he can help both the defense transition from defense to midfield, and also help the transition from midfield to attack. And he done it very well. And within a few minutes, we went and scored a great goal with great passing sequences as well. So to be fair, I was like, you know what? In 5 minutes, he looks better than McTominay in that position. I wouldn't be surprised if the next game you have Fred, Donny, and Bruno, and then those 3 up front. I would not be surprised. He's just like Marcel says, and I've always seen it. His thinking is of those Mata levels. Mata's got that kind of thinking. Donny's got that kind of thinking. Not so many players in the world have that kind of thinking, and he is one of them. So for me, I've just got to see him playing with a first team in a structure, and I think his best is to come, and he's got to be a vital part of this squad now, because you can't just play a season with just three midfielders. Yeah. You need to have a player for each position. So if McTominay and him are going to fight it out, whoever's playing best, play. If Eriksen and Bruno fight it out in there, play. And then you've got, if De Jong comes and Fred can play any of them, to be fair. So he can just mix around. But then you've got Donny, who's going to continue playing. So you've got to have that quality whenever you take someone out. You've seen it at City. You've seen it at Liverpool. They just interchange the 3 whenever. And it doesn't really matter. And I think that's what Donny can do, and he will do.
What's McTominay bringing to the play that potentially they feel that Donny van der Beek is not or can't.
The part is the physicality. That's the only
And
part.
that's it. But if you've got Fred there, could he not?
Yeah, it's the type of football we're playing now. It's like we're playing so high press. I think Donny should be able to get involved in doing that. And as a team, as a unit, being able to press that way, he's already used to that. So it's not like he's not used to playing that. It's just then you need to be able to also have the defense to be able to handle it. And if Martinez and Varane are playing, for example, you probably have enough. But then if you go Lindelof and Maguire, you may not have enough. So you remember when Matic played at the centre midfield, if he gets overrun by a Tielemans, for example, who they're both walking in treacle, and then, you know, he's still able to take on him, Matic, and Maguire, and still get in the box. I remember when he did that, I was like, but Tielemans is slow. How's he doing this? So we can't afford to have that happen. And I think Ten Hag will realise that. He may actually learn from it actually happening in a league game, because it looks like he's going down that route of, I don't care what anyone says, I'm going to play these. And I don't want to see it, but if he wants to do it and then prove himself wrong, he can do that. But I think we're definitely going to need to have steely centre-backs that have got the pace to be able to recover if you're going to have a De Jong and a Donny or even a Fred. And the McTominay, we've seen it last year. You need to have them one-on-one defenders who can defend one-on-one, who can defend on the halfway line. You got them there. We're gonna be very tough to beat if we can pick the right team, the right starting lineup from what we've got already. We're gonna be very tough to beat. I see us being in top 4 easily. I'm gonna go as far to say easily if we pick the right side from what he's got to choose from.
Yeah, and from what you've seen so far, I think Ten Hag's definitely earned the right to go with the teams that he wants to, and probably stick with what he's seeing so far until he sees differently. Marcel, can Van der Beek play in Scott McTominay's position?
Yes, he can, but like you was saying before, it's the physicality that, you know, Scott McTominay brings. You know, he's very, very physical, and he's got the height as well. Something that, you know, there's a reason why he's a Jose Mourinho player. Yeah. You know, there's clear qualities to that he's going to bring that as in the style of Mourinho, and that's key elements to a Premier League. You know, so he's a great squad player to have. I think maybe potentially he could end up being a centre back, because you need someone a bit more mobile. He's got the frame. Maybe the 1v1 defending's not there, and the positional sense and the understanding's not there. But that maybe comes with more games. I think he's played there for Scotland in a free, yes.
Yeah.
But you know, it's maybe something to look at in the future, because that midfield role, he doesn't have the cleverness. He doesn't have the quality that you need, and it's very, you know, you need to know your next pass when you're in that midfield, and you need to be able to deliver it very quickly to offer your teammate more time on the ball against his opponent.
Yeah.
So it's an important element that Van der Beek would be able to bring in comparison to McTominay. But then when it's a physical game and you need players to get out to the opposition quickly, hit somebody, you know, Scott is a fantastic player in that system. And you know, we saw against Leeds, we've seen against Burnley. We want that kind of player. And when it's even grudge matches, you know, against like the Arsenals, Scott's there, very physical player that has that presence in the team. And even if it's not quality, you know, I've seen players I don't want to put him in the same bracket as Roy Keane, because Roy Keane had that quality as well. But you know, Scott has the personality and has the money.
He's nice to be in the squad. Yeah, he's a good squad player to have in around your team when you need that steal. Definitely, I agree there.
All right. Next match is on Saturday against Aston Villa. Before we go, Nathan, what is it you want to see from this game in the progression of the Champions League, the progression of the pre-season?
I just want to see the starting lineup take shape more and more. So I'm seeing obviously players got 60 minutes this time round. I now want to see, you know, the team that it's taking more shape. So if it means like you got Varane back in there, I'd like to see Varane back in there. I don't think there's going to be many more changes, but I would like to see Donny start with the rest of the team. And I'd also like to see Varane start with the rest of the team, whether it's Maguire and Varane, whether it's Bailly and Varane, just have a look at them. Let's see how they look together. Because I'd just like to see it and see how comfortable they are against a Villa. And then, you know, change the back 4 again after that. I'd just love to see that. That's all I want. Am I asking too much?
Marcel, what do you want to see progression wise of this game against Aston Villa on Saturday in Perth?
It was another Premier League competition, so it's going to. I'm expecting a bit of quality from the opposition, unlike the Melbourne situation and the first half with Liverpool. The front three, we need to see the same thing, but it's that press. When the opposition get out of the press, where are our teammates recovering to? Where are backline recovering to? And where are they? We've seen that we get beat by that counter attack a lot of the time, and maybe that's because Ten Hag's got us trusting in the work that we're doing in the upper line, and that we're not going to get beat in this press. But we have to be able to recover back and find a recovery line somewhere and work from there to work another press again. And Ten Hag's been mentioning that if we can't press high, we need to find another space within the pitch to then press again. So that is what I would definitely want to see. Hopefully, there's going to be high quality wingers to play against. We didn't get to see Elise. We didn't get to see Zaha. And Crystal Palace have really good wingers that will test our fullbacks. I need to see my fullbacks getting tested. 1v1s and that kind of thing. So I'm looking more because I trust my forward line. The forward line looks really good. The midfield, we know that the quality needs to be added there. And I agree with Nathan in the sense that I'm trusting Ten Hag to make that mistake and see for ourselves. We've had people across the whole globe see the performance of that midfield last season, and we knew that was our biggest issue. But I'm gonna definitely trust the work, Ten Hag and his belief in the two players that are currently there. So I'm looking for that backline. I want to see what's going to happen with that backline. We had a huge issue against Melbourne with it in terms of getting that ball from A to B or side to side quickly, and just being able to play through the third. So that's why Martinez is coming in. Hopefully we see these kind of players and these defenders coming in, because once you're playing so high up the pitch, it's on the people in that kind of quarterback position, the defensive line, the midfielder line, to kind of cut up this back for these two banks of four. So I'm looking at the back line. Everything's to do with the back line. The fullbacks, are they going to come inside a lot more? How are they going to interchange with the likes of their wingers? And the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper as well.
Great answer. And that is all we have time for. We've actually gone 7 minutes over. Comment section, absolutely buzzing tonight. Love it. Appreciate the support. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you are new to the show, so press that subscribe button and press that like. If you are a regular, press that like button. I need to be seeing at least 20 likes tonight, because I know you've all been in the comment section, chatting away, loving it. Thank you for joining us tonight, Nathan.
Thanks a lot. It's been good. It's been great.
All right, and thank you for joining us tonight, Marcel.
Thank you, man. Great chat as always.
All right. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.